Hey guys, I'm Jason from Fit with Jay. I'm starting a new video series called Introduction to Lifting. It's for beginners, and I'm going to cover one exercise per video, a simple basic exercise that everybody needs to start their fitness journey. Today's, we're going to start with the squat, the most simple and basic exercise there is. Let's get to it. Alright guys, let's talk about the squat. Basically, you're squatting down and coming back up. Sounds simple enough. Problem is, there's a lot of things that can hinder that. So I'm going to show you how to get around those and avoid them. First of all, you want to start off with your heels underneath your hips. This is a regular basic squat position. There are other forms of squats, like a sumo squat, which has a wide stance, but we're just going to stick with the regular one now. So like I said, heels underneath hips. My toes are pointed out ever so slightly. I want to keep the majority of my weight on my heels the entire time. I don't want to rock onto the ball of my foot. That's going to put more stress on my knees and more onto my quads when I want to use everything in my leg to do this. To make sure I keep my back straight, because this is just a body weight exercise at the moment, later on we'll get to putting barbells and weights on our back and whatnot. So as a body weight squat, I like to do prisoner style. That's where you put your hands behind your back, and you're going to then lower your hips while keeping your back nice and straight, and come back up. Simple enough. Let's try that from the side. Heels under hips, toes pointed slightly out, back straight, and drop your hips. Pretty simple, right? Now, some people get into some trouble. Some people have low arches in their feet, and that makes their feet cave in, and then also causes your knees to cave in. That's going to be very bad on your knees. Take it from me. I've had knee surgery. I didn't realize I had low arches in my feet. When I found out though, I've got inserts in my shoes. But even if you don't have inserts or orthotics, you can get around this by using your muscles. You can actively think to use the outsides of your feet. So I said earlier, push with your heel, but in this instance you want to push a little bit with the outside of your foot just to make sure that your knees are not caving in. That's going to activate your glutes, pulling your knees apart, and keep you in a nice, safe path. Your knees should track over your heels and your toes in a straight line. That's why we're going out slightly. Our toes are pointed out slightly to match. Now, other things that can hinder you doing it properly is not having a lot of range in your hips, your knees, or your ankles. Let's start with the hips. If you've got tight glutes or tight hamstrings, they're going to really not want you to bend very far in the hip. You'll get to a certain point, they'll lock in, and then the back will have to start to go. And that's something you definitely want to avoid. You want to keep your back as straight as possible. So you should always do this in a mirror, at least first, second, third time. Make sure that you have the proper form and you're used to it. Make sure that that back stays straight. You check the mirror, you go down, back is still straight, we're good. Turn, face the mirror. Make sure those knees don't cave in. They go a little bit wide over the toes and back up. Sound good? How do we make it even better? We make sure that we're going low enough. Ideally, you want to get to at least where your upper leg is parallel to the ground. So that would be about there for me. Now I can get a little bit lower, but it's not necessary, especially for beginners. So how do I make sure I'm going that low? A mirror can help, or you can use a chair. So you stand with your feet almost in front of the feet of the chair. That's my regular squat position. Again, prisoner style. We're going to go down, weight on my heels, a little bit of the outside of my foot, touch the chair, don't sit down, and back up. One more time, weight on the heels, outside of the foot, touch, and back up. Sound good? Did you also notice how fast I was going? Or should I say how slow I was going? For the video, I went a little bit quicker than I suggest you do. I think you should try 4 seconds down and 4 seconds up. No pause at the top or the bottom. Why? I do this with all of my beginning clients. Actually, I do this with all clients, no matter how versed in fitness they are. I want to undo some bad habits. I also want to build muscle control. So imagine how much control you have to have moving at that slow pace. So 4 seconds down, 4 seconds up. Just barely touching the chair at the bottom and no stopping, top or bottom. That is a proper squat. So if you're having problems bending your hips any further, then stretches for your glutes and your hamstrings are required to get the range that you need. That could take a few weeks, possibly even a few months to get the full range into your hips that you should have. I'll cover all the stretches you need to do for a squat in another video. Another thing that could be a problem is your ankle. If you don't have a lot of possible flexion in your ankle, that's going to affect it. So if you notice, when I do the squat, my knees go past my toes. But if I don't have the range in my ankle and they had to stop, say there, I'm going to grab this chair and use it to stop my knees. Now, I have to bend at the hips even more. I'm definitely not getting to parallel. Even at the bottom of this range, my torso is now pressed against my thighs. I can't get any lower properly. Put that chair, shift those knees forward, and there we are. So again, stretches for your calf, your ankle, be very helpful to get you as low as you need to go. Nobody thinks about their ankle as in stopping them from doing a squat properly. A lot of people give up on squats because they're like, I just can't do them. Well, you can address the reasons why you can't do them properly so that you can do them. This is the #1 staple exercise everyone should be doing in one form or another. Now get out there and squat it up.